welcome and thank you for choosing to hang with the PodRats. My name is Christian. Today I'm joined by Hunter. It's the smallest crew we've ever had. The PodRats have never been a one-on-one podcast, but here we are.
Just face-to-face, having a conversation.
Heck yeah. Today's episode, we will be reviewing episode 9 of House of the Dragon. But before we get into the review, you can go ahead and follow us on our socials on Twitter at @the_PodRats and on Instagram at the PodRats. You can also listen to us on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, and you can also watch us on YouTube. All right. Now, without further ado, let's get into our review of episode 9, The Green Council.
The door remains shut until we finish our business. None can know who you are or what you seek.
All right, so this episode starts with Alicent kind of learning from Talia that Viserys is dead. Yeah, this is really, honestly, like tough news for her. And it's kind of weird because she seemed very like aware that this was going to happen in the last episode, like at the end, but it was still like it hurt a little more than I thought it would for her.
Yeah, Alicent, funnily enough, this talking point that we have here actually, I guess, kind of makes sense. It's just worded weird. But yeah, Alicent does kind of have this split going on here. Because it's kind of hard to get a read on her sometimes because, like, yeah, you think that she'd kind of prepare for this news with, it's kind of been expected over the last, probably years at this point. But she still does take it kind of hard. And I think it was still at the end of the day kind of hard for her to accept it. But then she, just immediately kind of gets into, oh, well, now Aegon will have to be king. So she kind of does have this like feuding personality going on where she is sad at the end of the day, because I do think she kind of did feel something at least for Viserys. But she also has the power struggle thing going on. And she also, is immediately getting into the game of who will, be next in the succession.
Yeah. That being said, Alicent she gets straight to business here, and they immediately call a council meeting that doesn't go great. Alicent is trying to persuade the council basically that Viserys in his dying wishes said that he wanted Aegon to be king. And that's kind of hard to convince people of.
Yeah, especially when at this point it's been 10 years that they've kind of had Rhaenyra sworn in as a successor. And
he never changed his mind. So It's weird. Beesbury, R.I.P. brother.
Yep.
He spoke up, and for some reason, Kristen Cole decided to just slam him down onto the table. I feel like that was an accident. I feel like he was just trying to sit him down, but
yeah,
he slammed his head. He
also didn't really care that he killed him, though.
No, he did not.
Yeah, Cole does kind of act very, very erratically these days. He acts erratically, but I think he's comfortable doing it now because he doesn't really have any consequences for it.
Oh yeah,
nobody really tells him not to do that. I think Alicent, because she's like, oh well, he's doing it to protect me, so she doesn't really mind it.
No, the leash is as long as it gets there.
Yeah, so nobody really cares to keep him in check or anything.
Yeah. So in this council meeting, there's kind of a disagreement between Otto and Alicent as far as how they should handle everyone else knowing about Rhaenyra and everything, or knowing that Aegon is going to be sworn in as king, and just what they're going to do about Rhaenyra. Because obviously Rhaenyra is going to be pretty upset about this. And Otto feels like she needs to be killed. And of course, Alicent doesn't, because it's her childhood best friend, daughter of the man that she really did care about.
Yeah.
And so now it's more of a feud between Alicent and Otto in this episode.
Yeah, and I feel like we've kind of expected that to come at some point, because Otto has kind of, since she was a kid, kind of been using her as a little pawn in his own little scheme. But Allison's kind of grown into, being independent, and she's really grown into her role as a queen. And yeah, I guess we've just kind of known this was going to happen at some point, and it's finally happening. And yeah, yet again, I think that little dueling personalities thing comes in because Allison does, at some point show that she's kind of a ruthless queen who just cares about like the power and stuff. But then, here in this moment, she's like, do you really expect me to just go and kill my friend from childhood and also my newly dead husband's, daughter?
Yeah, that's a tough situation to be put in. And I don't know how Otto really expected her to handle that.
Yeah, Otto was pretty quick to jump to the killing thing. And I think he was kind of taken aback too that she wasn't okay with it because, I don't remember when he said to her, that he was essentially proud of her for being ruthless and stuff. But
Probably
that was
a couple
episodes ago at this point. But yeah, I feel like he kind of thought she was maybe a little harder handed than that. And like she would realize that it needs to be done.
Mm-hmm. Well, Lord Commander Westerling is the second person to oppose the Hightowers here in this meeting. He's the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. And when he was instructed to go kill Rhaenyra and Daemon, he took his cloak off and he's like, until there's a king, I'm not Lord Commander of anything, basically, because no Kingsguard if there's no king.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of like hard to accept. It's kind of sus, if you will, that, everyone has been used to Rhaenyra being sworn in for all these years. And then, the deathbed confession of, actually, I have changed my mind.
We knew this is how it was going to go down at the end of last episode. And it kind of pissed us off a little bit that's how it all is coming from that deathbed conversation. And
yeah,
we knew that was going to be kind of irritating because it's all sparked from that.
Yeah.
And we're seeing just how many consequences there's going to be from that conversation.
And it's like 50-50 with, some people are like, oh, well, he must have said it. I trust the queen's wisdom. But then there's also people like, that's kind of a little too good to be true that, in his dying moments, he would go, actually,
exactly,
I would like my son.
And we'll get into this later in the episode, but it just is, I feel like it's more accepted because Aegon's a male and there's still so many people in this time who want, like, the king has to be a male. Like they're not going to accept Rhaenyra.
Yeah. So like the ones that do accept it, yeah, I feel like that's, a big contributing factor in the way that how quickly they accepted it. They're like, oh, well, I don't really care, if he said that or not, but at least we have a man being sworn in now. So
exactly. I feel like that's part of the compliance with the whole situation. And that's why probably there was only a select few who actually cared what Viserys actually wanted.
Yeah, because they don't really care, at the end of the day, what he wanted. It's just, hey, at least it's a dude. So
during this time, for some reason, Aegon's missing.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing, man.
He is a bad kid. Yeah,
it kind of seems like he. I mean, we've also kind of seen that over the episodes, but he doesn't really have a taste for the royalness of it all. He kind of seems like, and he's said it before, that he didn't really ask for any of this and of the royal treatment. And he kind of just likes to, be one with the city folk and just go and hang out and at the brothels and do his own thing.
Yeah. Then that's kind of what happened here is Otto sent Sir Eric and Sir Eric to find Aegon and wanted Aegon to be brought to him. That way he could convince Aegon to that Rhaenyra and Daemon need to be killed. And on the opposite side of that, Alicent sent Aemond and Kristen Cole also to find him. So it was kind of a scavenger hunt to find Aegon in King's Landing. And we learned quite a bit about him on their journey to find him. We found that there's these fighting pits where they shave kids' teeth down to where they're super sharp and make them grow their fingernails out, and then they beat the shit out of each other. It's pretty brutal.
And he's a connoisseur of this sport.
He is. He partakes, and he partakes in the women, and it even shows one of his bastard sons, and Sir Eric says that it's probably one of many, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, I feel like that could also kind of be a problem.
Yeah,
I
feel like that. Yeah, that could end up being something later on, possibly, because we have all these sons of the king now,
and he's the king now, and everyone wants to respect him. And if the word gets out, which it will, that he's got these 20 random children running around.
It's kind of the Robert Baratheon thing, because Robert Baratheon had quite a few bastards as well. One of them having a big role in Game of Thrones with the big hammer man.
Yeah.
So Sir Eric do eventually find out that the White Worm is who is keeping Aegon. We saw in past episodes that she kind of has eyes everywhere in King's Landing, and it was kind of insinuated that Massaria was the White Worm when she brought in Daemon, when he was drinking with Rhaenyra and all that. Daemon ended up being taken in by her at the end of the night. And it was kind of implied then that she might be the White Worm, but we get confirmation of that in this, and she's taken Aegon, and she will give him back for a price, of course, which Otto obliges.
After she spits out that she knows that the king is dead.
Right.
Somehow she knows.
Right. In the worst accent I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. The accent, we talked about it a little bit off the air, and I'm glad I'm not the only one, because every single time she's talked on the show, I've thought, man, there's just something up with this voice that she does.
Yeah.
And
I thought it was especially bad in this scene.
Yes. And because that scene, she got so much talking time. Yeah. I feel like it was really highlighted there. And yeah, I got on Twitter after the episode because I wanted to see if anybody else was talking about it. And yeah, we were not the only ones to notice.
Yeah. No, it is pretty bad. It's almost like she's trying way too hard.
Yeah.
To do
it
the
feels
accent.
like it feels so forced in the worst way.
Yeah.
It feels really out of place in the show, because the show is so polished and everything.
Yeah.
And then there's just this weird out of place, forced accent that you can just tell is so put on.
It's supposed to be, I think, the accent that Shay has in Game of Thrones, but I felt like Shay did it so much better.
Yeah, because I don't remember Shay's being that bad.
No, I don't think it was. But yeah, so I guess we can stop ragging on
besides the accent point.
But this episode was great besides that. But yeah, so she does end up revealing to Sir Eric where Aegon is. And Kristen Cole and Aemon do end up seeing this confrontation go down and do end up finding Aegon because they follow Sir Eric, and then there's a little battle. Kristen and one of the Sir Erics, I think the one that leans more towards Otto, was kind of fighting there, and Kristen Cole, of course, being Kristen Cole, disarms him and wins that little hand-to-hand combat moment. And the other Sir Eric just seems to walk away. He completely abandoned the situation there, didn't help his brother.
Yeah.
Which we later find out the reason behind that is because he just doesn't support what Otto's doing.
Yeah, you kind of realize that it's kind of messed up to be taking, orders from Otto.
Yeah, and not the queen. And I feel like he's honestly trying to save his own ass here, because at the end of the day, if he's, following orders from somebody who's not who he's supposed to be following orders from, he could get killed.
Yeah.
So
Alicent sells feet pics.
Alicent does sell feet pics.
Mm-hmm.
This is not cap.
No.
Larys Strong is a little horn dog for some feet.
Yeah, they trade information for medieval feet pics. which was quite the revelation.
It's pretty crazy. At first, I didn't realize what was happening. I thought she was just taking her shoes off. And then I was like, why are they focusing so hard on this?
I know, yeah. They were really driving home she's taking her feet off and now she's propping them up. And I was like, oh,
once the socks came off, I was like, oh, okay, what the fuck's going on here? But that was a little uncomfy.
It's a fair exchange. Larys, delivers the information and Alicent just delivers the toes.
Ugh. That is foul. That is foul. They've got some deal going.
Yeah. I wonder how long it's been going on.
Ugh. Can only imagine. Probably for a while. Years. You imagine Kristen Cole walks in and Larys is just beating his meat to Alicent's feet.
To the toes.
Oh, God. So, yeah, another talking point here would be Rhaenys. During the whole council meeting and all that, Rhaenys is still in the Red Keep, and she's locked into her bedroom, which she's not really a fan of. But Alicent tries to persuade her, I guess, to stay on her side and support Aegon's claim, and she doesn't really go for it.
Yeah, Rhaenys is a very independent character, She's a very strong-willed in her own beliefs and stuff. And I feel like that's why Alicent probably took particular care to, try and keep her holed up. But Rhaenys also has a lot of wisdom for Alicent just because, Rhaenys was supposed to be queen at one point. So,
yeah, she hit her with the whole "Have you never seen yourself on the Iron Throne?" kind of thing, and I feel like that question is asked a lot.
Yeah,
in this universe,
I feel like it's an easy way to kind of prey on her vulnerability because it is kind of a soft point, a touchy thing still.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's everyone has a power grab when you get this high up into the chain, into the Game of Thrones, if you will.
Yeah. I feel like Rhaenys is a very tough character, but the two things that kind of get to her are Meleys and then her, claim to the throne.
Yeah, I mean, when she said that, when she asked where Meleys was and didn't give a straightforward answer, I feel like that really pissed her off.
Yeah.
Because Meleys is a pretty badass dragon, we come to find.
Yeah, and you can tell that, Rhaenys has a pretty strong bond with Meleys as well. So.
Oh, yeah. So going back to Sir Eric kind of abandoning Otto's situation, he ends up getting Rhaenys out of her locked room and escorting her. He was going to escort her out to the sea so she could go back to Dragonstone.
That didn't really work out, though.
But in the process of that, the bells ring, and for Aegon to be crowned king, and everyone started just rushing to the dragon pit, and she got lost in the swarm.
It's the very Game of Thrones peasant trample that goes on.
This happens a lot. I feel like this happened season 1 of Game of Thrones with Arya.
Yes. I feel like this happens a lot as well.
Yeah.
When the peasants just start trampling everyone.
Yeah. Because Ned, the whole scene with Ned at the end of episode 1, when Arya is just being trampled and ends up climbing up on that statue to see what ends up happening there. But yeah, no, the peasants can definitely run some people down.
When they know where they're going, they just go, man.
Yeah.
And nobody stands in their way.
No. So yeah, they do end up getting to the dragon pit, and Rhaenys is just kind of standing in the crowd watching with everyone as Aegon is crowned king. That scene was pretty cool. I don't like Aegon. You're not supposed to like Aegon. But that scene was awesome.
Yeah, it was very cool seeing him kind of coronated in. It was also interesting to see when they first gave him, the, hey, by the way, you're going to be king, and that's why we tried to find you. And, he obviously did not want that whatsoever. And then it kind of, you see it when the crown goes on him, he kind of is like, okay, I could kind of get used to this. Because then it kind of is that slow build as people start cheering for him, and then you can kind of see it in his face, him kind of accepting it and being like, okay, this isn't so bad.
Yeah.
And then he starts pumping his fist, and he's like, yeah, all these people looking up to me.
it's one of those things where you don't want it, but when you see that many people who want you to have it,
Yeah.
and not just your mom, it's kind of eye opening.
Yeah, because I think, yeah, it's a good point. Like, it's just, he probably didn't want it so bad, it's just because from, being young, his mom kind of instilled that on him of, you are royal and I want you to be,
Mm-hmm.
and, at that age, nobody really wants to be doing what their mommy tells them.
No.
So when she's sitting there in his ear, giving him these little inklings, it kind of makes sense that he would have some reluctance.
Yeah. Alicent definitely looked like she had a sigh of relief in this moment that this was finally happening.
Yeah.
After all these years of her planning and hoping and everything, there's definitely a sigh of relief in her eyes and face, which Olivia Cook does a great job of expressing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there were like a lot of shots during that scene of, the like joy in her face and kind of seeing what she probably always dreamed of kind of coming to fruition. And also probably seeing Aegon himself kind of be proud and kind of accepting it. And she was probably just super proud in that moment to see him doing that as well.
Yeah, for sure. And this is something we haven't talked about yet, but there's definitely a lot going on in Aemon's head about how he feels he should be king, just because he's done all the things right as far as what you should do to prep to be king. And Aegon has done none of it, obviously, because he doesn't want it. But Aemon definitely, he even tells him when they go get him, he's like, I should be king.
Yeah.
And
Aegon doesn't really dispute it either.
No, Aegon said, please, like, he's like, I will sail away. Like, you will never find me. And Aemon had an option in that moment to let him go or to do the right thing and bring him back. And I guess Aemon's just a good dude. Aemon is so cool.
Yeah, his character is really, really good. Like in the last 2 episodes, his character is super, super interesting. He's kind of up there like how Daemon was in the first couple episodes, where like Daemon was the kind of mysterious, like enigma character where you kind of just like wonder what they got going on.
Yeah.
And now it's very much, it's very much Aemon now.
Yeah.
And it is very interesting to see because, like you said, he has like, it kind of seems that he is prepared for like this moment. He's, taken like his sword training and stuff very seriously. Like his, like royal mannerisms and stuff, just how like regal he is and like professional. It's interesting to see like what he has going on. He's literally the polar opposite of Aegon.
Yeah, definitely. And he kind of has the opposite facial expression when this is happening. He kind of shows a little bit of resentment as Aegon's being crowned king. Which is pretty interesting how Sir Criston Cole is the one who crowned Aegon as king. And it's also interesting that they brought back the Conqueror crown. Yeah, it's different than the one Viserys was wearing. Pretty cool crown.
Yeah, it's a cool looking crown.
Yeah, along with his outfit. His outfit was cool too.
Yeah, that's something that's always nice. Whenever they get like stuff like this going on, whenever there's like, big deals happening in the show, you can always look forward to some quality wardrobe stuff.
Oh yeah. Wardrobe and like just the swords of the knights as he was walking in.
Yeah, like stuff like that.
That was just something that was really cool.
It really is
really
like
cool to see.
Yeah, it really is like where this show and Game of Thrones as well, like kind of shines so much, is like those moments where they do a great job of like making them feel like they're big moments.
Oh yeah.
Because like just with like all the knights with the swords and stuff and lowering while he's making the long walk and stuff. Yeah, they do a great job of kind of making you with the set pieces and the wardrobes and, these grandiose like set designs. They make it seem like it is a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. And they also make it seem like it goes the way you'd think it would go. I mean, you made a comment about this as it was happening, but they left a cough in from the peasants.
Yeah, stuff like that is so funny because I mean, that probably would happen.
Yeah, there's a bunch of really sick people in the crowd. Probably, I mean,
it was really so quiet. You just hear the one man cough in the background.
You know he's ill. That may have been the director behind the camera. They just left it in.
Yeah. While the scene was going on, somebody on set just coughed, and they're like, "All right, just leave it in. It kind of fits."
Yeah. So while this is all going down, Rhaenys, this happens in the dragon pit, this whole crowning thing, and Meleys is kept underneath the dragon pit, and Rhaenys seizes the opportunity of everyone being distracted and kind of sneaks down there and steals Meleys. And I say steals, it's her dragon. She went and retrieved Meleys.
Yeah.
I did not expect her to come through the floor like that, though. That was wild.
That was pretty funny.
That was wild. I wonder how many peasants died.
Yeah, that was just truly just a little power move right there.
Oh my gosh, that scene in itself was one of the best ones in the
that was great. And then the little standoff that they have with the green team.
Yeah,
that was very, very nice.
There's definitely a lot going on there as Alicent and Rhaenys are staring each other down, and Rhaenys just has complete control of a dragon staring at the whole entire Green Council here.
Yep.
And she had the power to end it all right there.
Yeah.
They could not do anything about it.
Rhaenys is an interesting character in this show because, like, I don't know if it was last episode or the one before, but we see Rhaenys kind of align with, with Daemon and Rhaenyra. And then this moment, I feel like that's a moment that Rhaenyra's team would love to have. They can just mow down the whole enemy team just like that.
Yeah.
But Rhaenys doesn't take it for whatever reason she has. And it's kind of, that's what, like, Rhaenys is just a really complex character, and she kind of leans whichever way kind of seems convenient for, maybe what she wants.
She's also really smart because if you think about it, if she does murder all of them, she flies back to Dragonstone and goes, "Hey, your dad died, and also
I have a lot to explain.
I murdered your best friend and everyone that was related to your dad at the end there."
It would be a lot to explain in one setting.
And Aegon was crowned king in front of everyone. And,
they also went behind your back and crowned him as king.
Yeah, and also I kind of killed like hundreds of people with my dragon.
Yeah, and it would be a lot to explain. Rhaenys also kind of strikes me as a character who likes to kind of do her work in the background more so than like doing it out in front and like being brash about it.
That's a good point.
Like instead of, like having, she's not the one like during a council meeting to, scream and, speak up. She kind of will pull somebody aside.
Yeah.
Behind the, she's kind of works like that.
Yeah. She definitely listens more than she talks.
Yeah.
And that's a sign of a smart person right there.
Yeah. She listens a lot, and she's very, very strategic with her moves. So,
yeah. Well, that's kind of how the episode ended, was with her flying out of the dragon pit on Meleys. So,
and then Alicent having the damn, I could have just died look on my face.
Yeah, dude, she looked terrified. They did do a good job in that moment of looking like, oh fuck, we're about to die.
Yeah,
because that would have been terrifying. It's
pretty scary.
I would have shit my pants for sure. So what do we think? What do we think is going to happen next week? I don't know where we're going from here.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy. The season finale is already happening. We've already got a season finale podcast.
Oh man,
kind of crazy. But yeah, I'm sure some shit will hit the fan.
I'm sure we're going to get the Daemon and Rhaenyra side of this.
Yep. Yeah, we didn't even see them. I don't even think we saw them once this episode, did we?
Nope, I don't think they were in it.
Yeah, so we'll probably get that side, and I'm sure that they will probably not be too happy that this is happening.
No, definitely not.
And it kind of seems like they would probably want to react pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if we're going to see a resolution of any kind of here, or if this is just going to be a setup for the battle next season, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because it would be kind of far-fetched for like episode 10 to, unless it's like hours long, to just, wrap up all this
Yeah.
Not wrap up all of it, but, kind of tie up the ends that we have going right now. And yeah, I'm sure there will be a lot of stuff kind of left open-ended for the next season, because this whole first season has kind of been like a pilot season.
It has.
Other than these last like 2 episodes or so where we've stayed in a consistent timeline.
That is true. And, it's really cool how they've done it, because it doesn't feel like these are pilot episodes. Like, these feel like really cool when you're watching them, and they feel like fun episodes. But when you look back and you're like, everything that's happened is just set up.
It's all just been set up. But yeah, it's been interesting to see. Like, it hasn't been, boring, just it feels useless and it just feels like set up. It all feels, very, very heavy. But yeah, every episode has just been building and building upon the last. So
yeah, it's definitely like a history recap kind of situation where you're just kind of following the Targaryens through history, and it's very entertaining. Very entertaining. Well, I think that about wraps up this week's episode of the podcast. That being said, we'll be back next week with the season finale, episode 10 of House of the Dragon. Until then, put yourself first and take care of each other. Bye, guys.
See you later.